The Smiler at Alton Towers is the world's first and only 14 looping roller coaster, and it's held that record for over 10 years now. To think it's been open more than 10 years is crazy in itself. Before the Smiler though, the previous record for the amount of inversions on a roller coaster was 10. On Colossus at Thorpe Park. Oh, look at you, you're so cute. And it makes you think, with the previous record being 10, why the hell did they go with 14? They could have gone with slightly less to save space, maybe 12, 13, or even 11, or they could have gone for even more, 15, 20, 100. Well, today I wanted to take a look at the Smiler's layout and see whether it could have opened with less inversions, maybe not even breaking any records at all. Call it the Frowner at that point. And I also want to see if you could sneak in a few more inversions on the current layout of the Smiler to make it even more record breaking. Prepare yourselves, because the end result of this video is interesting, to say the least. So if you do go on to enjoy this interesting video, then please be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. It'd be greatly appreciated. So then, if you weren't aware, the Smiler was originally known as SW7. Wasn't it just? Look at this amazing marketing on the side of the black walls, where no one had an idea how creepy the theme would be. Oh, and if you didn't realise already, this is a minute history lesson portion, so sorry in advance. But eventually, those walls turned to the sort of theme that we're looking at for the Smiler, and that smile appeared. I would be terrified not knowing what that is. And at that point, plans started to be released and concepts were shown of sort of what it was going to be like. But one thing about those plans is usually they show the exact sort of layout that we're looking at, but these ones look to have way less inversions than it ended up having. So as per usual, as it even happens in this day and age, loads of enthusiasts ran off with this and created concepts of the brand new coaster in loads of different coaster building simulations, most of which were in No Limits 2, which I still can't get my head around even to this day. Why is there a bank left? Oh my... Okay, well, with my recreations that I can barely make, knowing what the coaster's like, let's take a look at an actual good SW7 recreation, or the Smiler before it was the Smiler, and see how far off it was, because from what I can remember, it will have way less inversions than 14. As you can see, we have the SW7 No Limits recreation. No Limits, not even No Limits 2. I guess the second edition wasn't out yet. So this recreation is by Nemesis 94 DJW, if I've remembered that correctly. So shout out to you. Obviously, this was going off the previous plans, so it may not be exactly right, but there'll definitely be some similarities. And here we go then. There is the coaster, Secret Weapon 7. It's got the Batwing in the background of that logo. Look, the trains. The Infinity model didn't exist, so, you know, fair enough. But as you can see, it looked to be a Eurofighter-esque model, and it's pretty similar to what we see nowadays on the actual Smiler roller coaster. But as you can see, if we start the POV, I think this was based on, oh my god, time-lapse. Oh, cool transition. We're now making our way up the lift hill, and there was no real clip of inside the building, so already let's just minus an inversion off. So with one less inversion as we speak, as you can see, the two drops right there, again, no one had a clue. They would be downwards corkscrews. So here, they're just normal drops. And I actually do like this concept, you know, you bank round and you get quite a bit of good airtime off there and down into the two dive loops there. So yeah, -2 off the inversion count now. Got the two dive loops, the airtime hill as well, the marmalizers there as well. That's mad. And then we go into the Batwing. That's pretty much perfect. And then we should go into a corkscrew here on the real ride. No, oh my god, Jesus Christ. So I guess everyone assumed that instead of the corkscrew, it was going to be a quick sidewards airtime hill into really strong brakes. Minus another one off the inversion count. The sky looks quite grey. That's accurate for England. And then we go down into the final two inversions, which aren't actually inversions on this one. They are, again, airtime hills, and then into the brake run. So what are we saying? That's -6 inversions, I think. So SW7, by the looks of it, from enthusiasts' point of view, could have had only 8 inversions. So that's quite a realistic, view of it having less inversions, because from there, oh my god, it gets quite unrealistic. Obviously, if you didn't see, I did make the Smiler with no inversions, and like I said, it wasn't very realistic at all. Although, as you can see, it did start off very similar to that SW7 creation, but then it sort of just gets a bit, yeah, what is that? That would send you out your seat sideways. And then over here is just like, what's going on? And that version was never speculated. But tell you what, there was a version of the ride that was speculated about, and it involved one element being on the ride that is not anywhere to be seen on it now, that could have probably broken the record by however much it wanted to. A world's first element was speculated to be on it, known by enthusiasts as the washing machine. And this wasn't really an inversion, it was just an element of the ride where the train parked up on a piece of track and the room would rotate, as would the track with the riders on it. So technically, you could keep them there for about a half an hour wash cycle. But a few things that would make it not really record breaking is 1, how often would it actually work? 2, how much money would that cost to run? Because inverting riders of a 16 people train might be quite a task. And 3, would it even count as inversions anyway? Because surely that's just a cheat code. You could make a coaster that goes round the corner, goes into the washing machine element, inverts 1,500 times, comes back round, and that is the world record beating roller coaster for the amount of inversions. So I'm glad it didn't happen, because that would be unfair to the world record gods. But looking past all that speculation and washing machines, and past the old predicted layouts and stuff, then we saw the announcement that it would have 14 inversions, and the sort of layout concepts came out and the art of it all, and everyone was in disbelief at how they fit 14 inversions in that space. And as much as the layout is pretty insane right now, is there any space for extra inversions? Yeah, this is where we're going to get a bit stupid with this coaster. Sorry, Smiler fans. And here we are back on the Smiler recreation by Distance Z. Again, shout out to you. And we've got the entire ride at our disposal. I'm going to start by looking at potential areas we could add one. So I'm going to go inside the building and where am I? Oh, I'm here, hello. And then, can we add an extra one to here? Probably not, unless you did an inversion straight out the station. Yeah, no, that's a no-go. Oh, the brake run, the lift hill. We could put one up the lift hill, actually. There's no way on that drop we could fit one in, other than the corkscrew drop downwards. The dive loop as well, that seems about right. And I think it was pretty obvious from the get-go we were going to do something with this hill. Yeah, the airtime hill towards the start of the ride. Could we replace this with an inversion? So we're going to make sure it's unbanked, and we're going to add some trims to it, because there are actually trims on the airtime hill. It's just you can't really put them on an inversion. So we'll put them beforehand, and then if we make our way up and sort of bank it over, should we just do a normal barrel roll here? God, I can barely fit it in. This is where the track stopped, and I'm expected to put it into there. Oh, actually, that kind of works. But here we go. If we test the ride, as you can see, go down one dive loop, go down the next, and we should end up in the sort of barrel roll that I made. Oh, God. The barrel roll itself was a little bit rough, but you get my point. They could do that somehow. Either way, we then go into a corkscrew right there, and then you go into the brakes. Now, obviously, if the brakes were shorter, you could stick another inversion in there, but I highly doubt that would be possible. And to be fair, the brake run could be pushed slightly more towards the sort of toilet's end if you move this lift hill maybe more towards the path. And it could work. I can just imagine it going through it very, very fast here, so we'll leave that one out. Then, of course, it's down that drop, off a vertical lift into the downwards corkscrew. That makes sense. The two half loop and corkscrews, those look fine. And then we have our second area. We could add an inversion. The second airtime hill. I was literally tempted to make this video purely just about adding the inversions to this ride, so if I did, we wouldn't have added very many. And what we're going to do here, instead of having the barrel roll like we did on the last one, I'm going to do a 0G stall. And then we bank down out of that, down towards here, and then hopefully this will just smooth across, because that's quite jank, that bit. And I think there was trims on the actual airtime hill itself in the game, so we'll do that. How fast does it go through here now? I just got blocked by the tree. I'm warning you now, this will not be smooth, but we are heading towards the 0G stall-esque thing, down the dive loops or whatever they're called. Trims. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe I should just retire from Planet Coaster. It doesn't feel the same as playing Planet Coaster 2. So we have 2 replaced inversions on the airtime hills. Is there any space for more? The Cobra Roll, probably bank that a little bit more, because right now people still question if it is an inversion or not. There we go, that's a lot smoother, and a lot smoother than real life's one as well. And then the ending, you can see we've got one corkscrew or inversion there, and then the massive long one when you feel like you're just going to fall out your seat. And then we have this banking round at the end, and there's quite an area here until you hit the brakes. Let's try and get one in there. There you go, that was quite an easy one to fit in. You sort of just bank round more and more heavily as it goes round, and then end up in a barrel roll right at the end. Might be rough, just like the previous 2, but any excuse to get another inversion in, eh? Here we go then, the smoother end of the Cobra Roll, that is a lot better. And then we head into these final 2 inversions. There you go, and then the other one, and then here comes mine. Oh god. I've only smoothed it over a couple times. It's still horrendous, but it could be a whole lot worse. So there you go, not only before did I make the Smiler with no inversions, not only did people think the ride had 8 when it was being built, not only did the actual ride have 14, but my version here has 17 or 18 if you add that one before the vertical lift, inversions on it, beating the current world record of, I guess, Colossus, or there's some 11 looper somewhere, by a landslide. But honestly, I'd rather keep the Smiler the way it is, just maybe with a little less roughness. Either way, if you want to see this for another coaster in the UK, or maybe something like this, adding inversions to non-inverting coasters, then leave a like and be sure to comment your thoughts down below. And if you haven't seen the Smiler with no inversions video, click here. I know I showed a bit of it earlier, but honestly, the build process was more fun than the actual POV. So, there. I was hiding my face. Right there!